Welcome back to Journey with Jen, where we talk about all things natural horsemanship. Control is sometimes a safety issue, and this is a video about controlling a bolting horse on the ground for safety. Okay, I'm putting gloves on because this video is about controlling a horse on the ground. On Gunner. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is starting with Gunner in a halter, and the lead line is clipped. The halter is underneath his bridle. It's got a snaffle on. I'm going to clip it in the middle bottom rung first so you can see the difference on the control that I have. Here's where I get pulled around quite a bit by Gunner because the halter is just in its normal state. It's not lowered on his nose yet, and I'm having to use power position here to kind of keep him on the circle, and he's giving me bursts of energy and bucking and passing gas and just letting steam out. Here's another power position, and I'm just kind of letting him get rid of some of the excess energy by giving him space on the line. A horse that would take the line away and drag me off, though, I would keep the circle smaller. Here, sweetheart. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do for control is I'm going to drop the nose band down. See, it's up pretty high on his nose right now. It's over my arm. So I'm going to put this on the lowest one I can. And that gives me more leverage because that's down low. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this on the side. So now you can only go one direction, but I have lateral leverage going to the left. So I'm going to keep him going to the left. If he tries to change directions, what I'm going to do is do my power position, and that will bring his nose to me, which will straighten him up. Then I can get him going the right direction again. Good boy. Good. Take this up. I don't like it. Good boy. Okay, so that was side leverage, and you notice that he ran into it a couple times, shook his head, and then did not want to run into it again. So now I'm going to go to the side clip of the bit. And so now when I pull this way, this cheek piece over here, this piece that's tall, that's what's going to be actually doing this little motion right here, bringing his nose to me. So I have even lower, which is more leverage, a lower position of where I'm pulling. So I have the most leverage possible because my point of contact is the lowest on his nose. So I've given myself the most amount of leverage, have my gloves on, I'm going to use my power position. And then the other thing that's really important when you're getting control of them is that I have hands that are slow to close and quick to release, because if he doesn't get a quick release, he has something to lean on, and I don't want to give him anything to lean on, because then he'll lean on it. Come on. With the bit in play, I can get his neck to bend quite easily. He doesn't want to lean on that bit. Even when he picks up a canter, he pretty much keeps himself on the circle. He doesn't force me to take steps forward or put myself into a power position to tip his nose in. He's doing this for himself now. He still has excess energy and has little bursts of speed, so his rhythm isn't consistent. You can see him swishing his tail here. This is all ways that he's choosing to let out energy without bolting forward, which is good decisions on his part. I'm not required to make power positions to get his nose back on the circle. He's doing this himself. Kenner got a tattoo today. Show her your tattoo. So this is my tattoo. It's a running heart because I'm a right brain extrovert. Kenner has a tattoo on his butt and it's a heart that's fading. A fading heart with highlights shaved in. See, they're shaved in. Cool. Kind of bigger than I wanted it to be. Bigger. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Gunner? You got a tattoo. You got a tattoo on your butt. Good boy. I don't want to get him sweaty. So. The other thing I want to show you as I walk him to calm him down. If I thought my horse was going to get away from me, I wouldn't clip my line to the bit, because if he was running with it loose and he could step on it and really hurt his mouth. So what I would do is I would turn it around first of all, so I'm not using the buckle at all. Take this end right here. I would run it through. My lunge line has actually a loop stitched into it as a handle. See? So I would bring that back to me. And that way if he got away from me, I would let that out. And then he'd be running with his reins tied up as they are around his neck like that, so that he wouldn't, even if he lowered his head, the reins don't drop where he can get his legs in them. So, yeah, keeps him safe. Good boy. So I've got the line coming back to me. Good boy. Good. And that way if I had to let it go, I could. Boy. When I'm directly behind my horse, he's like a plow horse tied to a plow. And he's in alignment with his chest and his hindquarters, so he has the most power. And he could plow a row and till it in the ground. So what I want to do is if he runs away from me and he gets his nose away from me, which the first thing is keep his nose pointed toward me. If he's looking at me and I've got his nose and his eyes pointed to me and I want both eyes like that, then he's not going to leave. The first thing they do when they leave is they take usually an ear away, then an eye away, and then their nose away, and then their feet, okay, when they leave. So what I want to do, look up, I want to keep both eyes on me. And if he did take his nose away from me, so I'm going to position him in that position, okay? Say he took his nose away from me. Good boy. Oh. I'm going to tell him to hold still so I can show you this. Boy. So if my horse leaves me and I'm right behind him, what I need to do is not be directly behind him. I need to get off to a diagonal. That if I have a line attached to his nose coming off the right side, I would come off to a diagonal off the midline. And that way I could have some leverage pulling his nose to me. But as soon as you cross the midline, you have leverage. So let me show you what that looks like when it's on his nose. So I'm simulating a horse that's running away from me. In this case, the line's coming off to the left. So I would get off the vertical line. And that way, you'll see his head comes to me a bit. Good boy. I can disengage him and bring his hips away and get his head back, okay?
As long as you're off the vertical to the right or the left, it will work. But here's a powerful tip. By crossing the vertical with your line, you have the maximum leverage. The reason for this is because by crossing the vertical, you're employing an indirect rein rather than an open rein. An indirect rein speaks to the hindquarters, not just the front end. This translates to riding too. An indirect rein speaks to the hindquarters to disengage. An open rein speaks to the forequarters. For more information on effective use of reins, watch the video on rein types. Remember that your horse can't leave you unless he takes his head away. As soon as possible, disengage the hindquarters, get two eyes back on you, and you'll have control of your horse again. You can refine this by correcting that your horse is leaving sooner and sooner. You're actually correcting the idea of him leaving when you see it in his ears and his eyes and then his nose, hopefully his ears. Your goal is to correct the thought, not the behavior. If you let your intelligent or excited horse get bored, of course they're going to leave, so don't be boring. Keep that mind engaged. This is a yield away exercise, and you can see by the expression on Gunner's face, the activity of his ears, and the calmness in his muscles that he is engaged and he's having a conversation with me. He takes his front feet away when I ask him to with my hand up, and he'll back away from me when I ask for the yield back, and then I ask him to come up with me with some momentum, and he's right there with me. This is a connected mind. In natural horsemanship, we have to know where to be, how to be, when to be, and why to be. Horses are just stronger than us, so we never want to get in a physical confrontation with them. We have to be smarter than them because they are stronger than us. So by positioning ourselves with this exercise to target their weakest muscles in their neck and pulling them out of alignment, it doesn't take much. It's about seeing the right moment when we can turn the tide and put our horse back on our agenda. The more times we can put them back on our agenda, we have communicated leadership in their eyes, and we get stronger in that position.
I've got the line coming off the right side. I can think about this. Oh, good. Head down. Good. I'm dropping his head here to settle him in this spot. I'm going to tap him on the tummy to tell him to stay here. Ooh. Good boy. I'm not going to pull on the line, it's on the ground. He's anticipating. Good. Ooh. Good boy. Good boy. You stay here for a second so that he knows that I'm just wanting him not to move yet. Good boy. So now I'm off to the opposite side. So as you can see, it doesn't take much of getting out of alignment, just a little bit. If I have room and I get off way to the right or way to the left, you would think that that would give me like more leverage, but it doesn't need to be a lot to have leverage. You just need to get off the center line, and then all of a sudden they can't pull you because they can't keep their nose in alignment. As soon as you can get their nose to turn, it disengages the shoulder and the hindquarter. That's why it works. Hope that helps. Talk to you soon.